Ha, they say that my rise to the top is long overdue. I'm just trying to cop a 3-star Goku suit. A better yet, it's Senketsu that fits over loose. Equipped with a light fiber microphone, my flow the truth. Don't let these haters rule over you like the student council. Cause if they see you making moves, then they'll never doubt you. Keep that scissor blade sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. I'm hungry like a back alley doc eating by the mouthful.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Pull the Trigger on a Podcast. I'm Fire Prince Silly, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Dr. Sea Monster. How you doing today, Doc?
Pretty good. Having a pretty nice day yesterday and today.
Nice. What have you been up to since we last talked on this podcast?
Let's see. I've been replaying Ratchet & Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal lately. Been having a great time. It's for explosions. Explosions are always fun.
Cool.
As an aside note, I'd like to address a Pringle-related issue.
What?
A Pringle-related issue.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so some people have a sensitivity to artificial smoke flavor. Depending on how strong its sensitivity is, you can get really ill. I've got a few friends who, even if they eat a little bit, they can get sick. Pringles has a new cross-promotion with Wendy. Baconator-flavored chips.
Oh.
And these things are so fucking drenched in artificial smoke that after eating just a few, I got really violently ill. So unless artificial smoke flavor is your jam, you don't have to buy these chips.
Yeah, that does not sound good.
No, it's really not.
Sounds pretty bad.
Like, I'm sure there's people who like artificial smoke, and it doesn't make them sick. But it usually doesn't bother me. But there was just so much.
Maybe you got a bad 10.
Maybe.
But also possibly not.
How about you?
What's been up with me?
Yeah.
Work mostly.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I work, folks. I work all the time. Other than that, just been very excited about new animation that's come out recently. A manhwa, which is a Korean manga that I've been reading since 2011, finally got an anime. It's called The God of High School, and people are just gonna be they're in for such a ride. It's so good, and I'm not sure what they're gonna change because I know they've changed some stuff because they had to fix pacing issues because there's some pacing issues in the earlier chapters and probably in the later chapters too. But if they keep to like the core of the story, it is going to be it's going to be such a swerve. It's going to be great. I'm just mostly excited to find out how to actually pronounce these things because I can sometimes figure out Japanese from looking at it. Korean, that is like a whole other kettle of fish. Like, and you'd think it'd be kind of similar, but oftentimes no. So
Yeah.
very excited just to figure out how to pronounce some of these things because I know I'm pronouncing them one way in my head when I'm reading, and it's probably not right.
I have no idea.
Another thing that came out recently is J.G. Quintel's cartoon that got announced like 2 years ago. It's finally out, and I gotta tell you, it's no regular show, but it's close enough. The joke is that the show's name is Close Enough. But
all I know is the clown clip that has gone mimetic.
Okay, is it about the stripper clowns? Because wow, that is a lot.
No, the balloon animal scene has gone is actually a meme.
Oh, nice, because oh my gosh.
If you're listening to this, you've probably seen it on Twitter.
And I just watched the show. I haven't seen any of the Close Enough stuff on Twitter. Other than to announce is on. It's on HBO Max. So I am assuming I know what scene you're talking about because I've watched that episode recently. The one where he turns his penis into a giraffe.
Yeah.
Yep. That episode was a lot. All the episodes were a lot. Close Enough is like Regular Show if Regular Show didn't have to worry about standards and practices. And it doesn't. It doesn't. So it's good fun. I like it a whole lot. I'm very excited for both these things because I've been excited about them for a long time. And it's like, yes, some payoff.
It's nice.
Yeah. I'm hoping other neat manhwas from Webtoon, which produces a lot of them, are going to start finally getting some shows now. Apparently, that's something that Crunchyroll has been doing with all their subscriptions, is working on new shows. Which some people are okay with, some people are not okay with. You know, it is what it is. I think this is going to be interesting. What else have I been up to? Wrestling, as always, has been, whatever wrestling is this week.
Hasn't been is this week.
Orange Cassidy didn't win his match. And, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It was definitely a good match. It came right down to the very wire. Like, they had, less than a minute left to go on TV. So they really put on a great match. Totally outstanding. Orange Cassidy went for his Superman punch, which is put people out, but Jericho hit his Judas Effect right in the middle of it, which the Judas Effect is one of the most protected moves in wrestling. So once you're hit with it. That's the end of your night. The day that somebody kicks out of the Judas Effect will be the biggest pop, because nobody's ever done it. Ever. Throughout Chris Jericho's career. Has ever kicked out the Judas Effect. So, that is what that is. Not even Okada. And that's a big deal. Let's see. Of course, there was no match between Jon Moxley and Brian Cage this week. Or last week, I guess. Because Jon stayed home because of, coronavirus issues, which both him and Renee have now tested negative for the coronavirus. Jon never had it, Renee did, but so we're very happy, that this coming week we should see the match between Brian Cage and Jon Moxley, and it's going to be pretty cool. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. It's probably going to last a long time, and I don't know the outcome. I want to say that Brian Cage is going to win, because it seems like a good time for Brian Cage to win, and he's a big man. Have I told you about Brian Cage?
No.
Oh my, this dude is he is jacked to fucking hell. He is a meme in how jacked he is. And he's agile as fuck. He's, how you see big dudes in wrestling, and they're kind of slow, and their big thing is their strength and how much they can take, and their tenacity. But generally opponents can just run all around them. That is not the case for Brian Cage. Brian Cage is fast. He can do all the Hurricane Ranas. He can do them. It's insane the way this man moves. He moves like he should not be that big. But he is. In one of the matches he had, he actually picked up a 250-pound man in both his arms, did 3 bicep curls with this man, and then just threw him over his head. Brian Cage is they call him the Machine for a reason. But it's I can't wrap my head around this individual, and I know it's all predetermined, blah 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 blah, but that's still that's incredible because like with a lot of the suplex and stuff that you're doing, somebody's like the other person is helping you do those moves, right? Like when you suplex somebody, when you're picking them up, they're jumping up at the same time so that you can, slam them backwards. If you're deadlifting somebody like that, nobody's helping you with that, and then to just throw him high over his head, like that's. Anyway, Jon Moxley's a cool guy, and he's had a bunch of really tough matches where he like goes the limit with people, but before John had to cut out because his wife had the coronavirus and he didn't want to endanger anybody. Before that, he had a match with a guy named Robert Anthony, and it took him nearly 20 minutes to put Robert Anthony away. Brian Cage had a match with Robert Anthony like the very next week, and he put Robert Anthony away in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It was nothing. So I feel like either they're showing us that Moxley doesn't stand a chance because Brian Cage is so much stronger and better, or they're like, wow, look at this monster that Brian Cage is, and so when Moxley beats him, it's going to make Moxley look even more incredible. So we'll see how that goes. Some people say it's too early for a title change. I don't think that it is necessarily, not if they do it the right way, but we'll see. After all, they did remove Nyla's championship after 2 defenses. So I'm not still bitter about that, by the way. I'm very bitter about it. What? And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what's been going on in my life. Oh, other than somebody at work tested positive for the coronavirus. Somebody that I probably only had maybe, I don't even know because they won't tell us who. But the way I do my job is I have maybe 2 to 4 seconds of contact with people a day. And I do all my contact with the mask standing at least 3 feet away from a person. It's kind of hard to do the 6-foot thing with the way that everything's set up. But, yeah. And generally they don't talk to me. So, so it's very unlikely that I myself have it. I'll be keeping an eye on it, though, because that's the world we live in. Florida has 15,000 new cases today. I don't live in Florida, but it's just worth mentioning that, we're all going to die, and it's idiots that are going to cause it. So
It's the apocalypse.
It's the apocalypse. It is a slow-moving apocalypse.
This slow, constant churning fire of death.
Yeah, that's what 2020 is. It is a slow-moving apocalypse. Hey, but you know what? Let's talk about something positive. You want to talk about Kill la Kill?
Love to.
All right, listeners, this week we watched episode 9, A Once-in-a-Lifetime Chance, and I really hate Gamagori's 3-star Goku uniform. I mean, I like it because I like, how wacky it is, but there's a deep part of me in my core that's like, this sucks. I hate this. What are your thoughts on it?
We're gonna do the recap first, or
Sure, we can do the recap first. Here we go. So we open on the stadium. Sasuke has announced, this is a King of the Hill battle, as we found out from last episode. And she's like, Ryoka, you're going to fight all 4 of the Elite Four, and then you're going to fight me, and if you are victorious, I'll tell you about your dad's death. Kamakori is like, yeah, we're going to fight right here on this stage. I am Lady Sasuke's impenetrable shield, and I will crush you. It's just basically a replay of how the last episode ended. with a quick transformation from Ryoko. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know that we necessarily needed this recap. But I guess, when I was going, from week to week, it was important to do these things. So, Gamagori is standing there, staring down Ryoko, when Nananon's like, what do you mean? You're acting like you're going to be the first to fight her? No, it's going to be me. And then, green-haired guy. Can't keep his name in my head. He's like, no, I'm going to fight her first. And basically, all the Elite Four are like, it's going to be me. And Ryoko's like, let's go. I'll take you all on right now, which would have been a mistake.
Would have been.
Imamoto, that's the blue hair guy, right? Yeah. He's like, you're a fool, because we said we'd do it one-on-one, so no, we cannot take you all on at once, which once again, that would have been a mistake. He's like, each of us wants to defeat you with our own power. And Sasuke's like, who will fight and win has already been decided. In case you didn't notice, your pillars are different heights. And Gamagori's is the lowest. So that's why he's going first, because he didn't kick as much ass as everybody else. But we get the order. It's Gamagori, Imamuda, followed by Nananon, and then Sagayama. I had his first name for like a couple of weeks, and then I'm just like...
I think it's interesting foreshadowing for later that you'd expect Sanagayama to have, for most people, because he's a very brawling type character.
Yeah.
Nananon is right behind him.
Right.
There's absolutely no pushover. She wrecks all kinds of ass.
Yeah, it's really good. We'll get to that on her episode. Because, well, we'll just get to it when we get to it. And so, Sagayama was like, man, I can't believe I beat too many people. Damn it. To which Imamuda's like, yeah, I guess that effective fighting style of yours is effective. But Nana was like, yeah, I guess you're not going to get a chance to fight her because I'm going to take care of it. And Gamagori's like, yeah, of course I beat the least amount of them. All I did was defend myself when I got attacked. And so Ryoko's like, all right, let's do this. Let's go. And Gamagori's like, no, our battle begins at 1 p.m. She's like, what? And he points to a clock. And I don't understand why Gamagori is so big in this episode. Like, normally he's bigger than everybody else, but in this episode, he is, like, way bigger than everybody. And it is a concern.
Gamagori has one set size. Bigger than you.
Bigger than you. But he points to a clock. It says 8:59. And she's like, what difference does it make what time we fight? Let's just do it. Let's go for it. And we're like, nope, we're going to abide by the rules because that's what discipline is all about. And that's what rules are about. Blah. We then get the title card and the intro. We're skipping the intro as always. But we cut to the town where, Ryoko lives. And there's Lazarus going, hey, the Hanaji Academy King of the Hill final battle will be held starting at 1 p.m. today. Don't miss it. Everybody should get around a TV and watch it. It's going to be a bloody clash between Hanaji Academy Student Council Elite Four and the second year Class K's Ryoko Matoi. It's going to have live coverage. It's going to be awesome. So grandmas, grandpas, fathers, mothers, and all good little children, let's watch it together. And the entire town is like, yeah, this sounds fucking cool. Let's do this. Mako's dad's like, what? Ryoko's gonna fight them all. We can't just sit here. Motaro, go steal us a TV from somewhere. And Motaro's like, hey, don't worry about it. I already stole a TV for just such an occasion.
I like that Barrazzo's commentary is just telling Motaro to go steal a TV.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh no, no wiggle room there. Just power goes to the TV.
Yeah. They all gather around this shabby looking TV and attempt to turn it on, and, well, nothing happens. They keep looking around, they beat on it a little bit, and still won't turn on. And they're like, okay, we just got to open it up. Let's see what's going on. And they reach in there, and you can see their hands through the screen. They look inside, you can see their faces. And it's like, there's nothing in here. To which Motaro gets thrown out of the house, followed by the TV, which hits him. And the father's like, there's no other choice. We got to go to the electronics store. And they all run after him. Motaro runs with the TV on his head, which I feel like is a reference to something. I just don't know what.
FLCL a little bit, maybe?
Maybe Dead Leaves? I don't know.
Yeah.
We cut to Ryoko eating lunch, and Mako's like feeding her. Because her mom's bento box lunches gives you 1 million horsepower. So Ryoko could win for sure. This is when Mitsugi walks up. He's like, you're in such a pickle, Matoi. And Mako's like, are you coming to cheer on Ryoko? I want to cheer on Ryoko. I want to cheer on Ryoko so hard. And he's like, yeah, totally. I'm her homeroom teacher. And then he sticks a pin in her forehead and freezes her. And Ryoko's like, what the fuck did you do that for? And of course, this is when he changes out of his shabby look to his other look. And he's like, look, I just froze her in place with a pressure point. That's all it is. So don't worry about it. Hey, could you do me a solid right now? And could you not fight the Elite Four? Just don't do it. And she's like, what? He's like, look, they're on an entirely different level from anybody you've ever faced before, which she's already faced a member of the Elite Four. She beat him, and then she got her ass kicked by him later. But she's already faced him. She kind of knows what she's up against, more or less.
Yeah.
This is a weird line from him. But he's like, look, they're on a whole new level. I don't know what will happen to you and Seketsu if you fight all four of them. So why don't you just do me a solid and just not fight them?
The thing is, I can get into this a little bit more later. Mm-hmm. But he actually is afraid of something else, which we can talk about when it comes up.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I remember what he's afraid of, but he could have just used that reasoning.
That guy plays too many things close to the chest.
Yeah,
it makes Ryoko's whole thing hard.
Mm-hmm. Ryoko's like, yeah, sure, I totally will not fight them if you're going to tell me everything about my father and why he was killed. If you could do that, sure, I will back out of this competition. No problem, no sweat. He's like, I could do anything. I could do anything for you, but I won't do that. And so Ryoko's like, then shut the fuck up. Go watch me and Senketsu beat the truth out of everybody who's in my fucking way. Because you're not going to tell me anything, so get out of there. Get out of here. And could you unsnap Mako from whatever you've done? Because talking to her makes me feel a whole lot better than talking to you. And so he removes the pin, and Mako is still in mid-conversation, like nothing happened. It's pretty great. But he walks away, he's like, just be careful. I'd rather not get on the student council's bad side because of you. Ryoko is angrily chewing, and Mako's like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, no, nothing. Haha, your mom's lunches are delicious. They're seriously, they're great. We then get to 1 o'clock, finally. And there's a big arena set around for all the students to watch outside the battle platform, which is high in the air, of course. Sasuke's like, all right, begin. And that's when stairs emerge from each of the pillars. The pillars holding Ryoko and Gamagori, and they casually walk down them. And Ryoko's talking to Seiketsu. She's like, he's got a double transformation. He's going to be real tough. Are you listening? And he's like, I was just thinking. And she's like, what, you got an idea? And he's like, maybe. She's like, well, just keep your mind on the fight, would you? Because this guy is not going to be a pushover. So it's not like Ryoko is like underestimating these people, not entirely, but I don't think she knows. And then I don't think she knows really what she's in for. But then we get Gamagori's transformation sequence, which I hate. I hate it. Like, it's bad, but I mean it's entertaining. It's great in that it's entertaining. It's very flashy, but is this like, because we kind of already talked about this last time or the time before, that this is just his whole transformation, his whole suit is just horny on main in a way that this show has not been before. And it includes his transformation. Like, it is like...
Gamagori's transformed suit. Oh, I think we can summarize this for people who haven't seen the episode. I'd like to point out that the shackle regalia includes a fucking ball gag.
It includes a ball gag. Like... I hate this thing.
So it's got two forms. It's got like the wrapped up in tentacles form. It's also got a second form, the Scourge Regalia, which, a lot like Sanagayama's uniform, is a fucking mech suit.
Yeah, I bet.
Its aesthetic is more like American comic book type things.
Mm-hmm.
Around the eyes, actually, it definitely looks like, Stark tech, like an Iron Man suit.
So, Ryoko walks up to him, and she's just staring him in the face. And I presume he's staring back because one of his eyes is covered and the other one's just kind of blacked out. But they're staring for a while, and Gamagori's like, "Well, are you gonna do anything? You gonna fight? What's going on?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to fight." And he's like, "Why aren't you attacking me?" She's like, "I'm not stupid. I know that if I attack you, you're gonna build up the energy, and then you're gonna be able to transform and beat me up. So I know better than to try to attack you." And he's like, well, you know what? I came up for a counter for nonviolence for just such an occasion. He's like, you didn't think I didn't think of something so obvious? This is when his suit sort of unwraps a little bit, and he starts whipping himself, which is a scene. He's like, if nobody will punish me, then I will punish myself. I use my own techniques to punish myself. It's, like I said, this is like...
Suspect.
This is a whole thing. He starts expanding like a balloon as he whips himself. He's like, I punish myself until I bring myself to climax.
Covering all our bases today.
Yeah. It's like, this is my Higa Jijo Jibaku, which I don't know. That's probably totally mispronounced. This is what it's calling this. Anyway, the Shackle Regalia explodes, revealing the Scourge Regalia. And like Nathan said, it's basically a mech suit, and it's got a million whips. Not a million, but a ton. And the Elite Four is in the path of this. Well, the other, members of the Elite Four. And they're casually dodging, because I suppose they've seen this a million times before. Ryoko is having all the trouble dodging this. She's just getting beaten by the Wisp. But she's like, it's cool. You've opened yourself up to attack now. I'm going to go in for an attack. And that's when all the tentacles, or the whips, I guess they're all whips. That's when they pull back in, wrap around, and he's like, yep, I'm all secure now. And she's like, fine, then I'm going to finish this real fast. And she goes for her, her big attack to remove his life fibers. But this is where we find out that the top of this outfit, or this Goku uniform, is not made of life fibers. It's made of a special armored fabric, just specifically to keep him protected. It's a cloth armor reinforced by means of special powers is what they say. Okay.
Pause.
Pausing. Unpause. So he's just explaining basically that, you can't, thrust your blade into the uniform proper. You can just attack all this armor, and when you do, I absorb the power of your attack. And that's when I'm going to attack you. So is this course wise? And that's when he retransforms to the Scourge Regalia and just beats on Ryoko some more. We cut to in front of the electronics shop, which is just showing Ryoko getting whipped. Like, it's a lot. The Mako family is like, oh my gosh, she's got to do something. She's got to do something. Come on. They're just sitting there get hit. But Mako's mom's like, don't worry. She ate the lunch I made for her. So she's going to be just fine. Which is great. So Ryoko's just doing her best to now block these whips. And as Gamagori goes like, oh my gosh. Like, blame yourself because your attacks are giving me more power than I've ever had before. So it's your fault that I can keep fighting with this Scourge Regalia for so long. Which is a line. I don't like it in context of his whole thing. But it is what it is. Then Ryoko gets slapped around some more. It's more or less reused footage. Nanana's like, what is the matter, Transfer Student? Are you just more of a pushover than I was expecting? And Sakiyama's like, man, Gamagori seems to be doing like a lot rougher today. Or maybe it's Imamoto that says it. One of them says, oh man, he's working real hard today. To which the other just responds, well, yeah, of course. He's fighting to impress Satsuki because she's watching. This is when we get a flashback, a Satsuki flashback. She's like, do not, underestimate the resolve of this man. It's nothing to sneeze at. And we cut back to 5 years ago in front of the junior high that Satsuki and Gamagori both attended. But she's like, hey, I didn't expect, the student council the former student council president would skip his own graduation ceremony, to come talk to me. You're serious about your studies and stuff. And Gamagori, who is massive in this shot, this is like the biggest he's ever been, I swear. Like like I said, he's normally bigger than everybody else, but this is like they've like,
this is the biggest he's ever been when it wasn't actively a joke.
Yeah. It's insane. But he's like, if you intend to rule the school with force, then I will stop you at all costs. That's the final task I must carry out for the school, because it's ridiculous that, you're attempting this. He charges at her. She does a simple swipe from her sword while it's still in its sheath to reveal that he is wearing armor underneath. She's like, oh, still armor all over your body, huh? He's like, yep, my relatives run an ironworks, so I had them make it for me. So your attacks will not work on me. And she's like, yeah, well, you know what? You can't beat me. And he's like, I never thought I could. My strength isn't enough to defeat you. And she's like, well, okay, then why are you even doing this? He's like, I can't defeat you, but you can't defeat me, so we're at a tie. So you can't make me kneel. So this will teach you that you can't conquer a school or other people by force, because some people will not, be accepting to force. They will be resistant to it, and they will not yield to it. More or less. That's my resolve. She's like, it's easy to talk a big game, but it's much harder to back it up. Expect no mercy. And then she starts beating on him. He's blocking. She's beating on him. She's revealing more and more of the armor as he is just taking these punishing blows, being pushed back. Finally, she goes in for a hard thrust, and she cracks the armor in such a way that it bends the armor out from his back. But Gamagori, not wanting to be defeated, he's like, I will never kneel before you. And he takes hold of her sword. And he pulls away from it, unsheathing the sword, falling back, to which Sasuke expects him to just, be kneeling, but upon further inspection, he's using the sheath of the sword to prop himself up so he never actually kneels. Satsuki moves him somewhere, wakes him up. He's like, oh man, did I lose? And she's like, Gamagori, I've seen the full measure of your resolve. Come with me and become my shield. And he's like, what? What are you thinking? And she explains, she's going to go to this high school, Omg Academy, and, people are pigs in human clothes, and she's going to use the academy to fight for everything this world stands for, and she's going to destroy it, and she's going to rebuild it completely. And the first step is to go to this high school. So come to this high school, be a part of my army. Join me there, and you'll be able to acquire new strength. And he is just touched and impressed, and he agrees that he's going to wait 2 years and then go to the high school that she's going to go to. And she shakes his hand, but she doesn't shake his hand. She shakes his finger because he's so much bigger than she is. It's a style choice that I'm not 100% on board with.
It's really weird.
It's weird.
I mean, I do really like this entire flashback.
Oh yeah, the flashback's good.
And one of the things about Gamagori is that he's a great example of a lawful aligned character who's fun and interesting.
That's true. But we cut back to Ryoko defending from the many, many, many whips, doing her best, and Gamagori's like, I told you, I am Lady Sasuke's ultimate shield, and I want to curse you here and now. And Ryoko's like, oh, like hell you will, I'm not about to lose to you. And now she's starting to not only block the whips, but she's also cutting them. And she's like, look, I'm going to beat you, everybody else, and find out exactly what happened to my father. And Gamagori is like, you're petty. This is petty. If you challenge her out of a personal vendetta, a great being like Satsuki will not be budged. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, and it's not just her. You'll never be able to defeat me either. And he hits her real hard to the point that she she does fall off the stage, but through some quick thinking between her and Senketsu, she is saved from falling completely down, where she would have lost. Which, honestly, I don't know why she didn't just try to push Gamagori off the stage while he was in his shackle regalia, since apparently falling off the stage means you lose. But Ryoko's anyway held up by her uniform in such a manner that, her boobs are her underboob is really flashing. And everybody, all the guys and Mako have nosebleeds.
Mako gawking at Ryoko's tits with a nosebleed. So fucking heterosexual.
Super straight.
How about gal pals?
Gal pals. I am in rough shape, but I cannot drop out now. Gamagori is back in his shackle regalia. He's like, you're a fool and a sore loser. He's like, and she's like, whatever. It was your own bad luck that I didn't get, thrown out of the ring. And then she goes into attack, which we cut to the Mako family watching at the electronics store. And they're like, you can't just keep attacking him. He's going to hit you with a counterattack. Come on. And Mako's mom like, dang, is she this desperate? But Ryoko is just beating on Gamagori and building up the pressure in his suit. Mitsusugi's watching. He's like, this is no good. She finally lost all capacity for rational thought. And he pulls out a sewing pin. Presumably to hit her with it. If things go wrong. And Gamagori's like, struggle all you want. It's not going to happen. You're going to learn your place as a student. I'm going to teach it to you. This is when he transforms once again, and she starts spinning her scissor blade and defends herself perfectly from these this whip attack, because she's just cutting it up. She knocks it right back at him, and it really pisses him off. And he's like, you know what? I am the discipline committee. I have been shackling and whipping myself mercilessly to set an example for for students to see how they should behave. He's like, see my behavior and how to correct your own. They would mend their ways of my own accord. That's my whole deal. I impose the order and independence of the student academy. The shackle regalia is the very embodiment of that desire. And he's like, if those who still refuse to learn, I held back my tears and gave them a taste of my cleansing whip. And that is the scourge regalia. If you refuse the whip of love, then you leave me no choice. And then he bites down so hard, he busts the ball gag. And he pulls out, what do you call these things? They're chakras, right?
Chakrams, sure.
Chakrams, yeah, whatever.
That's good enough.
Good enough. It's like, let me show you the true terror of the shackle regalia. Your independence is revolt. I'm going to mold you into a proper student. He throws these things, and she's, beating them back, bouncing them back as he's throwing them. And he's like, where do you get off modifying your sailor uniform into that slutty outfit? It's like, it's depraved. It's utterly deviant. And she's like, what about Satsuki's outfit? What about that fucking bullshit? And he's like, no, that's different. She's an exception. She's like, allowed to do that stuff. Her form is made up of her iron will and her well-trained body. And Ryoko's like, that's some self-serving garbage you're serving up. But she has been distracted enough that he knocks the scissor blade away from her, and she gets trapped in these chakram. This is when Gamagori pulls out the student press. It's the mold of the ideal, proper female high school student. And he's going to press Ryoko into the perfect shape, which is insane. So he's crushed.
I think that his ranting here is a little bit more important than it might seem.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of relates to something we saw a couple episodes ago with the fighting club stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Asking Elite Four definitely see more interested in getting Ryoko to conform to their system than actually stopping her from what she's doing.
Yeah.
Just wanted to note that.
So Ryoko's getting crushed. And everybody's like, oh no, this isn't good. He's like, and Gamagori's like, I won't give up. I'll keep, doing this until you're a proper student. Senketsu asks, hey, do you want to win? And she's like, duh. He's like, if you do, I've got a great idea. And she's like, is that thing you were thinking about earlier? He's like, yeah, will you let me handle it? She's like, yeah, you got it. We'll do it. And so she starts spinning and she busts out of the chakram and transforms back into her regular untransformed state. And Gamagori's like, oh, so my words are finally getting through to you? I see you returned to a more proper appearance. And she's like, who would listen to you, you big pervert? He's like, fine, in that case, have a taste of my ultimate whip of love. And it doesn't come from his crotch, but it does come from near his crotch. And it's the biggest whip that he's released yet. And I hate it. Because, I love this show. But there are just some things that I'm like, this is a lot. This is one of those things. This is a lot. Obviously it's not his penis, but it is his penis, more or less.
It's all played for gags, but it is a lot.
It is a lot. So he thrusts this big whip at her and just hits her with it, which Sanketsu is now biting into it, gripping into it. She is, of course, biting and gripping into other whips and is being pulled right into the shackle regalia. And Gamagori is like, so you're applying the idea that even the hunter spares the bird that flies to his bosom. And he's like, but I'm not that sentimental. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to strangle you. I'm going to crush you with my shackle regalia. And he's pulling the uniform in tighter and tighter to himself. He's like, are you having trouble breathing? Without your scissor blade, you have no way to fight back. Ha ha. And the rest of the Elite Four are like, whoa. Did she, give up? Is this the end? To which Sagiyama's like, wait, I sense something. And Sasuke's like, that was super foolish, Gamagori. And we watch Ryoko struggle to transform. She does. And that's when spikes start coming out of the shackle regalia that aren't a part of his uniform. Tons of spikes. And she rips free, basically looking like the most edgy version of Wolverine that you could possibly get. This is super.
Ryoko just spontaneously develops new powers.
She just spontaneously develops. Yep.
It turns into an entire goddamn Laura Kinney.
Yeah, absolutely. She is now covered in blades, and she is ripped through the shackle regalia. And Gamagori's like, "Oh my god, she turned her uniform into a blade?" And she's like, "Yeah, and now you don't have enough energy to transform into your scourge regalia." And so he tries to defend, but she's like, "That is too late." And she goes for her big attack, her finishing move. She's like, "Your life fibers are exposed," and she busts apart his uniform and absorbs his life fibers into her suit, her very spiky suit. Gamagori hits the arena, the stage floor, and Sasuke says, become obsessed with resolve, and even that will turn into arrogance. What a shame. Ryoko is announced as the winner. Mako's like, yeah, you did it, Ryoko, and everybody's cheering around the TV set back at the Mako family. Ryoko transforms back to her regular uniform, and she's like, Senketsu, you did it. You transformed. He's like, yeah, if a Goku uniform can transform, it's unthinkable that I could not do the same.
Really like Ryoko's new transformation. He looks very sharp.
It's very sharp. Good. That's a good one. I like this scene between Ryoko and Senketsu. Ryoko's looking like super happy, kind of cute, as they're like kind of looking at each other. It's adorable, and I'm about it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I love that positive outlook of yours, Senketsu. Mitsusuki is watching like just the dust settle, and he's like, so it's learning to alter its configuration based on the battlefield conditions. It's like, I'm impressed.
See, I think this is kind of the thing that see this a little bit more in the next couple episodes, which I can get into here. But like, I think he's afraid of Ryoko losing control of Senketsu.
Well, yeah, that's what he's afraid of.
Going too quickly. So it's not that he's afraid of the Elite Four beating her.
Well, no.
He's afraid of like what will happen to her, and like how she'll react to it.
Yeah, absolutely. No. That's right. I just didn't like his reasoning of like, it's like these are like people you've never faced before when she's obviously faced one of them. Like, he could have come up with anything else.
He just does. He's big on excuses.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm impressed, but I cannot be happy about this. We cut to Yamagori in the midst of the smoke, and he's like, disgraceful. That was disgraceful, Gamagori. Like, he's using the third person. And he pulls out a little, a big knife. And he's gonna, like, commit... He's gonna kill himself. For his honor. And that's when Satsuki wraps the blade up in a cloth and pulls on it. And he looks up, he's like, Lady Satsuki... And she's like, wipe away your own tears. It's too early to kneel in defeat. And she walks away as he just watches her. And he lays back and he's super sad. He's still crying. But we cut to Ryoko, and she's like, hey, that's one down. And that's when Imamuto steps in. He's like, I guess then I will be your next opponent.
Yeah, next week we're going to get a fight with Inamuda.
Yeah. And Sasuke's like, hey, you know what? If you want, you could take a rest and, like, conserve your strength a little bit. And she's like, no, I'm going to waste your chumps and then I'm going to come after you. Which is, I understand she's a hot-blooded protagonist. That was real dumb. Like, because if she did lose, that would be the fault. Is that, like, she didn't, like, take take a break, to rest up a second. It's like, let's get to it. And Emma was like, you're so impatient. He's like, still, I hate to waste time myself. And that's where the episode ends. Like I said, I don't think any of the other episodes, or at least the episodes coming up, are quite this horny.
Oh, this is just about the horniest the show ever gets.
I think so. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it is what it is.
Except there's a couple random scenes, but like this is kind of the top here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Editorial. I did really like this episode, though. This is a very fun run of episodes. I editorialized a little bit.
What?
I go on a rant.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'd like to add on to something I said last week. Joked that this was a shonen style tournament arc in the middle of a magical girl show. I said in the past that Kill la Kill is indeed a magical girl show.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It also definitely draws from other genres. Main two being like shonen battle shows and Super Sentai, tokusatsu show.
Right.
We very much got a shonen story arc here. Tournament arc, which is going to take up the next 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I think people are kind of... go ahead.
No, I was going to say, speaking of tournament arcs, if you like tournament arcs, you should watch God of High School. Anyway, go on, continue.
That's the thing. I think people are really down on tournament arcs in general for being kind of repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're usually done pretty well. There's some great shows that have done tournament arcs as entire seasons, like Yu Yu Hakusho. So other shows are entirely based around tournaments. And like the thing is, main things you get in a tournament arc are flashy combat scenes involving colorful characters and a reasonable level of stakes and drama. And if that doesn't sound good to you, I don't know why you're watching a shonen anime at all.
Yeah.
That's my piece.
I agree with you. Oh, sorry. But yeah, that's it. That's the episode this week. It's a good episode, but I still don't like it. Like, I like it and I don't like it because it's a lot.
Oh.
I can only think of one instance in this show that is more than this episode was in its entirety, and I believe I'm already on the record.
When we catch it.
I'm sorry, what?
We'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah, I believe I'm already on record as of hating that so much.
Oh.
But yeah, so that's it, everybody. Hey, Doc Sea Monster, where can people find you on the internet if they want to talk with you about stuff?
I'm on Twitter way too much. I'm at Dr. Sea Monster. That's at Dr. Sea Monster. You can find me on Twitter where you can see me make clever comments on other people's tweets.
Nice. You can find me, as always, on Twitter at dat, spelled D-A-T, datfireprincess. You can find me on my numerous podcasts that I do. I do a lot of them. And will I add more podcasts later? Probably. Is this one going to last forever? Studio Tricker thinks it well. So, yeah, that is life. That is life. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got to plug. Well, normally I talk about one of the other podcasts. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about Gravity Falls, because we have a Gravity Falls podcast called Fighting for the Falls, and you should check it out, because it is just this, but for Gravity Falls. And that's it. So, until next time, remember, don't lose your way.
Don't lose your way!
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ha, they say that my rise to the top is long overdue. I'm just trying to cop a 3-star Goku suit. A better yet, a Senketsu that fits over loose. Equipped with a light fiber microphone, my flow the truth. Don't let these haters rule over you like the student council. Cause if they see you making moves, then they'll never doubt you. Keep that scissor blade sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. I'm hungry like a back alley doc eating by the mouthful.